Hey, welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddart, where my mission and passion are to help you think bigger so that you can have the business that you want and the life that you want. And, I am more than excited today to introduce a good friend of mine, Josh Friberg, who is fabulous at helping people have it all. Can you have it all, right? That's kind of the big question that we're going to solve today. I believe that you can, being a dedicated family man and dedicated professional. Today's topic is very near and dear to my heart. So let me give an intro for those of you that don't know Josh Friberg. First of all, let me say, Josh, thanks for being on the show, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Really happy to be here with you.
Good stuff. So for those that don't know Josh, his background, he has actually was just recently on the executive team of an organization, 5 Doors, that was on Inc. 5000's top fastest growing privately held companies, number 113 on that. Played a very critical role in helping them grow to the level that they did. Josh has been a real estate agent and is now the abundant agent, somebody who's helping agents, again, have it all. So excited to delve into this topic. Like I said, that's very near and dear to my heart of how do you not neglect your family and still build a great business? So Josh, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you being on here talking about this incredibly important topic.
Absolutely. Yeah, Justin, it's so interesting. Like as I travel around the country teaching in brokerages and at associations, like over and over again, I find that real estate agents got into this business to take care of their families. Mm-hmm. And then now that their businesses are doing great, now that their businesses are growing, they find out that their families are suffering, right? They look back over at the family and go, uh-oh, something's broken. Yeah. And what many people don't understand is it actually only takes getting 3 things right. And if you can nail those, you can have amazing results. It's really about figuring out like where your biggest contribution is, really mapping your priorities, and then having an execution plan that works. And the results are, it's honestly just amazing. We've walked agents through like doubling and tripling their businesses and reporting back, oh, I have more time with my spouse. I have more time with my kids and better relationships than I've ever had. So that's really what we're doing with the Abundant Agent, is helping people really tap into that part of their real estate businesses and lives.
At the core of who I am, I'm a family guy, and but I don't necessarily want to have a lousy career because I have a big family, because family's important to me. And it's interesting. I meet with agents all the time. A lot of times it's moms. They kind of raise their hand and they say, I'm torn inside. I don't know how to do this, because some days I wake up. In fact, this is a quote from a client. She said, I wake up some days and I just want to kill it. And I'm just so excited, fired up to go build my business. She said other days, I just want to be a mom. I just want to fold clothes. I just want to. And so there's this like kind of schizophrenic, like, who do I want to be? Me, myself was raised in a family where I had a mom who was a very successful entrepreneur. And yet she was the best mom I could have ever imagined. And I think she came to grips with the fact that she could be where she needed to be when she needed to be there by owning her own business. That actually gave her the freedom to kill it during certain work hours and then step out and be at all of our games, travel around the state to watch our football games, et cetera. And so I think that you can have it all. I've seen it. I was raised in an environment of entrepreneurs and family members who pursued both and were great parents at the same time. So let's delve into this, Josh. What advice would you give, whether it be a busy mother and or maybe even a busy father, but like what are some of the tactics that you teach, some of the strategies that you teach to help people to, not neglect the family while still building their business?
Right. Well, first of all, I want to put huge asterisks on this as we're talking, if we are talking to moms, right? Like that you and I do not understand their world, right? And the responsibilities that are on them. And so anything that I say with like great caution and great, like just, hey, apply this as you can. And I know that I don't fully understand your world. The first place, you mentioned, and I thought this was really good, is to be where you are, is to actually like, it's really interesting. I was in a class, in a yoga class actually once, and they said, your body can only be in the present, right? And we would all agree with that. Like, I can't have my body be in the past, and my body can't be in the future. It can only be in the present. Yet our minds can be in the past, our minds can be in the present, or our minds can be in the future. And so this person said, it was really just an interesting thing, is they said, just let your mind be where your body is right now. And so, even now, like you and I have the ability while we're having this conversation to be thinking about what we're having for lunch today, to think about that weird thing we said yesterday, right? Like there's all these things, but to just be present where you are. The other thing is there's this old saying in comedy, which is leave them wanting more, right? And I started applying this in my business because I'm like your friend, your client that said, some days I just want to go into work and I just want to kill it. For achievers, there's actually something really gratifying about the 14-hour workday, not as a lifestyle, right? But as a day where, man, you're just hitting on all cylinders and you're able to give it your all. You're able to pull an all-nighter and really at the end of the day say, I did something. And you can do that for a day or a week or maybe even a month, but that's not a lifestyle, right?
Agree.
So one of the things that I do when I'm coaching achievers is we put a limit on it. And it's like on those days when everything's going right, put in the 3 hours that you have in your schedule to do it, or the 5 hour, whatever it is. And when you come to the end of it, stop. Because that energy will have you ramped up. I had an experience of that this weekend where I could not wait for Monday to start because I was so pumped about the activities I was going to do for work. And I committed to honoring my time with the family on Sunday and helping my son with his science project, right? Mm-hmm. So set limits on when you're going to work and stick to those. Now, there's another piece to that. Because then there's days when, hey, I just want to stay home. It's sunny out. I want to take the kids to the zoo. Or, boy, if family's having a rough day, I didn't really need to do, maybe today's a day I need to call in sick and stay at home. And I literally just got a text this morning from one of my coaching clients that said that exact same thing. Hey, I didn't make my commitments at work because we really needed a family day. And it might be okay once, but boy, if that becomes a habit, that's really dangerous for your business. So what I say is create a schedule and do it whether you feel like it or not. Right? And sorry, I'm going a little long here, Justin. What are your thoughts on this? Because I know you.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I think it goes contrary to what maybe we've been taught. And I think that's probably a good thing because a lot of people are really struggling in this area. So what you're saying is that if you decide that I'm gonna make 10 contacts within my database, for example, and I'm gonna write a number of note cards, and I'm gonna go to lunch with a client that I've served in the past, and that's your commitment for the day. Even if you still have more gas in your tank, and you're like, man, let's keep going. What you're saying is no, stop and keep your commitment to then go spend time with your family. Even if you get those things done earlier. What I hear you saying is go reallocate that time to family life. Be okay with the fact that you didn't sign up for a 9-to-5 job. You're getting paid based on activity, based on results. And if you get those things in earlier, guilt-free, go spend time with family. Yet on the days when you don't feel like doing anything, those are the days where champions are made. Those are the days that you've got to do a gut check and say, you know what? I've got to do the work today so that on those other days, I can actually spend time with family that I've committed to. Is that what I hear you saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Cause and we could talk about both sides of this, right? I mean, as you said, that's where champions are made. I think it's really interesting if, Usain Bolt shows up and he does his intervals for the day and then he turns to his coach and he's like, man, I'm on today. I'm on fire today. Could we do another hour? What's the coach going to say? They're going to be like, no. You can't do another hour. Your body needs to now recover from what you just did. And by the way, I've got a workout tomorrow that's going to, holy cow, your eyelashes are going to hurt at the end of that one. We're going to make you work. And so that's the thing is create a business plan and stick to it. Now you do want to stop and measure and make sure you're getting results along the way. And you need a business plan that's effective. We're talking to the Think Bigger real estate show, right? We're not talking to the Think Small real estate show. So I do already have big businesses. They already have effective business plans. But yeah, let's talk about those days you don't feel like it, because I think that's super important. And here's where people go wrong. They've been successful because maybe they got their back against the wall at some point and they were able to achieve, or by and large, most of the time they feel like doing it, right? And so typically what they do is if they're kind of entrepreneurial, if they kind of do things off the cuff is, well, when I feel like doing something, I do it. And generally that's led to success. But that's going to wear out and that's going to wear thin. And so if you're sitting around waiting to feel like it, you're just going to keep sitting, right? If you wait. But here's what's fascinating is every time I've had a coaching client that's like, I just don't feel like it. I go, well, then just go make one call today. Just go make one contact and then call me back. Right. And then they do, and they call me back and they're like, that went well. And I'm like, great, go make another one. And we literally will do this for like 3 hours until they go, hey, I made my 10 and I wrote my notes and now I've got my lunch appointment, right? Like you described.
Mm-hmm. That's actually, I was having this conversation with a mentor of mine yesterday about this book that I read years ago called The Kaizen Way. And in fact, I just bought it for him. And actually I'm going to be delivering it to him tomorrow. But the concept is, there was actually a doctor and he was dealing with people who were obese that needed to get in shape. Like their health was suffering as a result. And they said, I've tried getting gym memberships. I've tried all these different things. This doesn't work. And he said, look, all I want you to do, like each day this week is put your shoes on.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And like go for a run. No, just put your shoes on, sit on the couch and watch TV. Eat potato, like whatever you normally do. I just want you to have your running shoes on.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of laughingly, like, I'll do that. And then the next step was, okay, I want you to go stand on the treadmill. Like, don't you dare walk or run on it. You're just supposed to stand there for a few minutes. And like little by little, he got them to where they realized that whatever it is that was keeping them from doing the activities necessary, got rid of all those mental blocks, one little tiny step at a time. And I think what I'm hearing you say is that that's a similar strategy, is that if you don't feel like making the committed effort in your business that you once decided was necessary to help you reach your goals, like start with something so simple, make it one contact, right? Make it one email, like something so simple that gets you over the hump so that then you can really unleash, kind of get rid of the fear and the doubt that's keeping you from doing what you know you should be doing.
Absolutely. And then where I go from here then is I say, pick those 3 or 4 areas of your life that are super important, right? So your business, your physical health, your relationship with your spouse, relationship with your kids, like take those 4 areas. And I have in my life, I have a 15-minute rule. Every day I spend 15 minutes on those 4 areas. Now, you know the truth, Justin. I don't spend only 15 minutes on those areas. But every day, 5 days a week with my business and 7 days a week with those other areas, I spend at a minimum 15 minutes on each one of those areas, making some sort of positive step, some sort of little positive step in each of those areas. And of course, what happens is for me is that it primes the pump, right? Yeah. So as soon as I lock in to my daughter, to my 6-year-old daughter, and I go, this is her 15 minutes. I'm going to just freeze frame on that with her. I'm totally present to her. And we're talking about something I don't care about, right? Talking about unicorns today or Hatchimals or whatever it is. Like I lock into that, and before you know it, right, we're an hour later.
Interesting.
So instead of, hey, I'm just gonna check my Facebook feed here, it'll just take a minute, and then 2 hours later, I'm still there. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna take 15 minutes with my wife, and then lo and behold, 2 hours later, I'm still there. I'm gonna take 15 minutes to make this really important move in my business, and then 2 hours later, it's like, oh, and then I finally built that website I've been talking about for 3 months. That's what it looks like, is little actions. And because again, if we're waiting for the feeling to show up before we act, we actually have it backwards. We want to act, and then if, crazy enough, the feeling shows up. We act, we get a result, and the result either moves us toward our goal or it doesn't, which gives us feedback. We're like, oh, don't make phone calls like that, right? Oh, don't do that marketing scheme. Like, great, we got some feedback. We have a feeling that goes along with that, and then we get back into action.
I think that's brilliant.
Way too many people try and get the feeling first. Act first. Just do
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah, all of us, right? And I think that's why most people are mediocre at a lot of things, right? Is it like, I'll be a good dad, like I'll go play catch with my kid when I feel like it, And the reality is, like, childhood goes really fast. And if you talk to grandpas, if they have one regret, it's, I wish I would have spent less time, maybe in front of the TV and more time out playing catch with my kid, Same thing in business, right? I think there's so many lives that what you taught right there. That's the only thing that's keeping them from mediocre or from good to great is the ability to make a decision and act even when they don't feel like it, especially when they don't feel like it, because that's what separates you, right? That's why, that's the difference between most producers and most parents and great parents. That's the difference between most producers and great producers, is that they just do the activities consistently enough. You and I have probably both read The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Right.
You know, and compound interest is the same concept. Like, you start early and it's a consistent deposit. And if you take away the consistency, it kills it. And same thing with lead generation. That's why I see so many real estate agents jumping from this tactic to this tactic to this tactic to this tactic, because they're assuming that doesn't work for them, or they didn't like that one, or they didn't get the results. They never actually employed the power of the compound effect because they didn't do it consistently enough, because they were relying upon, when I feel like doing it, I'll do it, which is never consistently enough to actually get the results. So then they jump to something else, or the grass got to be greener. This has got to be it. This is going to be the tactic that's going to save my business.
And what people forget about the compound effect too is, when you look at the compound effect from the outside, it looks like this. It's just this like really straight, really exciting line that then suddenly takes off, right? This is why, like, you'll consistently hear like musicians and artists say, yeah, it only took me 20 years to become an overnight success. The harder part is that from the inside, you're looking at the competition, and the competition seems to be going up like this, and they may be going up on this like straight trajectory, while you're going up, you're going like this, because you're building, and then you surpass them at the finish line, right? It's the craziest thing, because you have to just keep doing it every day. And I love, like, the business plan that you sketched out in 12 seconds a little bit ago is a brilliant, simple business plan that agents done consistently will make an amazing lifestyle for people. Done inconsistently, you will go broke, you will lose your family, you will lose your health. Like, it just won't work.
Yeah. As with anything, right? I mean, even exercise and nutrition, all of those things, anything great in life depends upon, you even talk to people like Steve Jobs that, you know, literally transformed like the world in which we live. And they talk about how it's not as sexy as an Apple keynote presentation, right? That's the fun part. That's the unveiling. But there's, you know, hours and days and weeks and months and years of pretty monotonous, mundane work, you know, with an occasional super exciting thing. But that great success, if you look back and read biographies of the people that have had the greatest impact, whether at home or even, you know, in business, it comes down to very simple practices done consistently over time, repeatedly.
Yeah. Well, and not to, like, you know, to like kick down the fourth wall or anything, but like the Think Bigger real estate show, right? You made that commitment at the beginning of this year, because you'd been doing it like at a certain level last year. And then you said, hey, you know what? I'm going to change the model this year. I'm going to do it every day, 5 days a week, 8:45. Like, this is my interview. And holy cow, like, here we are 4 months in, starting on the 5th month in, and people are going, Justin, man, what's going on with Think Bigger real estate show? But I imagine in February, there were days where it was like, nobody's watching, but I'm doing it. It's Tuesday and I'm doing it. And it's the next Tuesday and I'm doing it. And nobody's right. And now people are really talking about this already, after 4 months. And I can only imagine what this looks like after a couple years. Right. And, even the end of this year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's, and yeah, there's absolutely days.
Achieve that mind share with folks.
Yeah. That's a great point. Great example. And and it does get easier over time, right? Like the first little while is where most people turn back, where it's like, this is too hard. Yeah. This is too much. I can't do this every day. Whether it be, what I'm doing, or whether it be, what a real estate agent does. At the end of the day, there's got to be some consistency. And if you do, like, the prize is great. Like, the reward is great, but you got to pay the price. So, any other tips, Josh, before we kind of wrap up, for being a great parent and a great agent? Any kind of last things that we didn't cover that you want to hit on? Or do you feel like that's enough for everyone to digest today?
I think we hit on that. The other thing, so we talked a lot tactical, right? That's actually usually the second step to talk tactical. The other piece to do is I would say to take time to really understand what your greatest contribution is, right? The reality is that the work that we do matters and the lives that we live matter. And when we take the time to really think about that and say, like, only you can be a parent to your kids. Only you get to be a spouse to your spouse. Only you get to be the owner operator of the body that you live in, right?
Right.
And only you get to provide the unique value that you provide to your real estate clients. So to take a half an hour this afternoon and to start to write that out, like why is the world a better place because I'm here? Why is it important for me to be a great parent? You know, I was talking to this one of my clients in Tennessee, and I said, why be a mom? Who cares, right? I was being sarcastic, and she came in and she said, Josh, I am raising the future citizens of this country. She's like, I am raising the people who are going to be running for office, or at least voting for the people that are in office, and they are going to be making contributions to their community. It is vital that I nail this as a parent. And I was like, yeah, I was struck by that. And say, so why? Like, tell me why it's important for you to be a parent and understand that. Now, all of a sudden, playing soccer in the backyard is about the future of the nation, right? Like that's amazing. And so then to be able to say, okay, you know what? Actually, this stuff matters. To say, hey, I need to make sure that I am in good enough physical shape to dance at my daughter's wedding 20 years from now, all of a sudden changes whether or not I put on my tennis shoes today.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Right? And that's the decision, by the way, that we're making. We're often stuck making the decision between, nachos on the couch in front of the TV and the running shoes. When what we should be doing is weighing nachos on the couch in front of the TV with dancing at our daughter's wedding.
Boy, that's a different conversation.
That's the actual decision. Yeah.
Because the nachos sound pretty good until you compare it against, this will prohibit me, if compounded over time, this will prohibit me from being active enough to dance at my daughter's wedding. Nachos or dance at my daughter's wedding. That's an easier decision.
Right.
That's powerful, man. Great stuff. Last question here as we wrap up. What does Josh Friberg do to expand your own possibilities, to think bigger? Give the audience today a tip, something that they can do that you've found really helps you to think bigger on a consistent basis.
Wow. What's something that I do to make sure I think bigger on a consistent basis? I think the two biggest things that I do in that space, Justin, first of all, is hang out with people that think bigger than me. Like literally just hang out with people that think bigger than me. And the second is that I dream. Like it's sort of a hobby of mine, is that I just like fantasize. So all that talk I did about being present is that I spend at least some time in the future. And I've talked with you about this. What would it look like for my family to move and live in Belize? And then talk about it. Or what would it look like for us to buy an RV and live for a year in an RV, or to become snowbirds in our 40s, right? Like, why not? Is I dream with zero, like, yeah, but that couldn't happen. Or no, like just, no. That's off the table as to the how. And just go for it. And that's so I do the same in our business, right? Is what would it look like to be $1 million business? What would it look like to be a $10 million business? Break open a spreadsheet and figure out what would the business plan be. Now, I'll tell you that 99 times out of 100, I get done and I go, oh, I'm unwilling to commit to the activities to make that a possibility. But I did think bigger while I was doing it.
And it probably makes whatever activities you had committed for the day to seem a lot easier, right? See a lot more doable.
Right. For sure. And then I go, okay, well, here's how big and these are the activities I am willing to commit to along the way.
Great stuff, man. Always great stuff when I get a chance to talk with you. Thank you again so much, Josh, for pouring tons of value into the Think Bigger real estate audience. I'm going to put up here on the screen a way you can get a hold of Josh. Josh is a fantastic speaker. If you've enjoyed anything that he's said here today, you haven't seen anything yet. You put him in front of a crowd, and he has this amazing ability to tell a story and weave principles in that keep your attention and get you really engaged in the topic at hand. So yourrealestatespeaker.com. He's actually launching his brand, The Abundant Agent. So that site will be coming soon. But if you keep this website here, this will always be redirected to his actual site, yourrealestatespeaker.com. Go find Josh. If you're looking for a great keynote, if you're looking for somebody who can be a great coach when it comes to individual coaches or group coaching, he's a fantastic resource. I would highly recommend him to anybody. So thank you again, Josh, for all that you do for people, for the industry that you and I both serve, and for the world, for just being a great person.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.